Hey Northview, I just wanted to take a moment and let you know how incredible these last couple weeks have been as we have started to unroll this vision for Open the Door. Your response and engagement with what we're doing has been incredible, and I am so proud and privileged to be a part of what God is doing right here in our church and in our community. As we are working our way through this conversation, as you know, one of the goals that we've set for this initiative is that 100% of our people who call Northview home would engage with God on a fresh conversation on kingdom generosity. And I wanted to share with you a little bit right now about a tool that you or your family could use to kind of prayerfully engage with God through this process. It's this commitment card that many of you will recognize and probably picked up on that first Sunday or even the second Sunday of this series. You can grab it anytime you're here. We'll make more available as the series goes on. But this is a great tool to kind of help you take the conversation from a very general conversation about kingdom generosity that most of us would say, I want to be more generous. And it's a tool that helps you make it a little more real and a little more practical in your life. And I want to encourage you to engage with this card in the days ahead. As you open up this card, you'll see that there's kind of a worksheet that's laid out here that gives you a chance to kind of think through and process, where am I now and where might God be calling me or us to be? The first blank on this card provides an opportunity for me just to write down, what is my annual generosity right now? If I just kind of add up everything I'm doing on a weekly or a monthly basis in 1 year, what is my or our generosity? What are we giving to the church right now? And you just have an opportunity to write that down so you can know, okay, that's our starting place in this conversation. Now, I know for some of you, this number might not be as big as you want it to be. And in fact, there might not even be anything there for you. And I don't want you to be upset or freak out about that. I want you to know that Open the Door for you, this may be the season where you take some new steps in this area that you've never taken before. And I'm so excited for you if that's what this is going to be. That first blank is for what you are already giving. The second blank has to do with expanded annual generosity. Thinking through, in a year's time, in addition to what we're doing right now, what might God be calling us to do or me to do in addition? What expanded generosity might God be asking of me? There's a lot of different ways that we can come up with a number that represents expanded generosity. There might be changes or adjustments or a reallocation of priorities, but all of us have a conversation that we can have with God, with our family, and try to come up with an answer there for that second blank. The third one is just the total of those first two numbers. And then after totaling it, you have an opportunity to multiply it by 2 and total it again. And we say that intentionally because the number that we're going to be talking about when we talk about a commitment number represents a 2-year number. Because remember, Open the Door isn't a 5-week sermon series. It's actually a 2-year generosity initiative. So everything given between December of 2019 and December of 2021 will be included in this number. So after you multiply those blanks by 2, you'll come up with a annual generosity plus expanded generosity times 2 number. The last blank that we have on this card represents stored resources. And we're asking everybody to consider as part of this conversation, am I honoring God with everything I have? And is there anything that I have or that God has given me, not that I think is going to come down the road at some point, income that might come later, but no, what do I have right now? Stored resources. This could look like a lot of different things. It could look like savings or stocks or land or a spare vehicle. It's a number of things for all different people. It may be just something that you don't use anymore that represents a resource that could be turned into a gift to the kingdom. Whatever that is for you, we're asking you to consider that also in this time and to write that into this blank here for stored resources. And all of that added together is going to land you on a all totaled number that represents a complete 2-year commitment. That's when we talk about this idea of laying your commitment before the Lord and prayerfully engaging with God. That's kind of where we're driving to. In truth, this number is the only one that you really would need to write anything down on. The rest of it is just a worksheet to get you to that number. But we're asking our entire church to come to a place where they can lay a commitment before the Lord for this 2-year period. We're going to provide a couple different times for you to do that, to lay that commitment before the Lord. The first one is coming up next week on Wednesday, November the 13th, 6:30 p.m. We're calling it Advanced Commitment Night. And we're asking those who are ready to lead out in generosity, who have felt God put a number on their heart and they're ready to commit, to come and to be a part of a special night where we worship and pray, and we do it right on the space where this community center expansion is going to take place. We're going to set up a big heated tent right on the parking lot where the expansion and construction will go. And we're just going to have a really special service, and I cannot wait to see you guys there. It's going to be a special night in the history of our church, and I want everybody to be there. So again, if you're ready to lead out, that night is going to be a special one. Make sure to mark your calendar for November the 13th, 6:30 p.m. There will be an additional opportunity to lay the same commitment before the Lord on the final Sunday of the Open the Door series, and that's November 24th. We're calling that Commitment Sunday. And like Advanced Commitment Night, on that Sunday, we're going to have an opportunity to lay those commitments before the Lord as a church. I can already see the momentum building and God doing incredible things in our midst. So as you and your family prayerfully engage with God during this time, I pray that this little tool will help drive some of that conversation for you and help you come to a place where you know what your commitment is. Church, I want you to know we are praying for you. We are wrestling with you. All of us, from myself, the elders, the staff, we are all prayerfully considering the exact same conversation and working through the exact same worksheet as we consider for our families what Open the Door is going to mean. So may God enrich you and may He bless you as you lean into Him during this season and as you ask Him, God, what do you want me to do as we step through this open door? Thanks, church. I can't wait to see you again this Sunday.